So, I'm here to tell you a story. This happened when I was living in California, and it was when I had first moved to San Diego. I was living with a house with a few friends, and it was around the fall of '83. I think it was November that I noticed in the garden somebody had left peppers growing in the garden. And they were beautiful, red and yellow and green. So once I found them, I thought that it would be a great idea to pick them all, put them in a bag, freeze them, and then later when it got cold in the winter, I could make chili with them. So I went ahead and I picked them, and I brought them inside and cleaned them and dried them. And I decided to cut off the stem and then open them up and take out all the seeds. So I did that. I went ahead and cut off the stem, and I went to open them, and I noticed that my hands started to burn. So, I didn't really think it was a big deal at first. I went ahead and washed them, and I kept going with the peppers, but it just got worse. My hands were burning. So I just completely stopped, and I went ahead and washed my hands with soap and water, and I scrubbed them. And after I dried them, it just kept getting worse. It was so painful all over my hands. So the only thing I could think of was to get a bowl of ice water and put my hands in it. Once I did that, it felt so much better. So I just stayed there because it was working. I didn't want to chance it. So after about an hour, I thought that that should be enough, and I went ahead and washed my hands again. But no, it was worse than before. They just burned like fire. So I ran back to the ice water and I put my hands in. And around this time, my friend came in and said, "What did you do?" I said, "It was these peppers that I found. What should I do about this?" And she didn't know either, so what we decided was to get some advice from a nurse that she worked with. So she went ahead and called her while I sat and waited, and it had been about 3 or 4 hours by this point, and my hands were totally shriveled. She came back in and told me that the nurse had told her to use meat. So, whatever, I thought, that's fine, let's try it. We went ahead and got it, and it made it worse. It just burned my hands. So I went back to the ice water. It had been about 5 or 6 hours that I'd been sitting there now, and I was exhausted. I'd been there all day, and I just wanted to go to bed. But, my hands were in this bowl of water, and I didn't want to take them out. So what I ended up doing was I laid on my back on the bed with my head in a corner. I put the ice water behind my head on the ground, and I laid my hands in the bowl of ice. And it worked fine. I fell asleep no problem. And I slept until about 12:30 or 1, and it had kind of, the burning had kind of gone away. But as soon as I woke up, it came right back. So I just tried to push it out of my mind, and I went back to sleep. Now, by the morning, it was gone. It had totally dissipated. My hands felt fine. Now, I wear gloves. I wear rubber gloves when I cut peppers. I do not use my hands.